What happens when the wildest visions of the 90s push past the projector gate and spray sparks into the aisles? From outlaw romance road trips to necrotic love ballads, these films shattered taste, toppled ratings, and were yanked before the popcorn cooled. Every cancellation etched their names deeper into cult infamy, turning scraps of celluloid into forbidden scripture. Stick around, hit subscribe, and dare to walk the tightrope with us as we count down 13 Savage Exploitation Flicks. So raw, theaters slam the doors shut. Number 1. Natural Born Killers. Oliver Stone's neon-splattered road rampage landed in August 1994 like a Molotov cocktail hurled at the American psyche. Viewers gawked at flickering channel surf edits, delirious animation, and lovers bathing in gunpowder light beneath a blood-red sky. By Monday morning, headlines linked the film to a classroom shooting. Within a fortnight, 2 more crimes mimicked its sequences, almost frame for frame. Parent groups marched on multiplexes waving photos of wounded teens. Cable pundits warned of cinema turning kids feral, and insurance lawyers whispered about liability. Fearing lawsuits and bad PR, major chains pulled the movie from second-week schedules, leaving towns to debate free speech beside empty marquees. What remained was a bootleg legend, a picture that indicted media culture by out-screaming every newscast, then watched the real world prove its thesis. Every vanished print only sharpened its bite, turning Mickey and Mallory into patron saints of outlaw pop culture. The ban may have shortened its run, but it supercharged its myth. Number 2. Crash David Cronenberg's 1996 car wreck Erotica didn't just push boundaries, it wrapped them around a hood ornament and spun them into oncoming traffic. From the first shot of bruised flesh stroking cold chrome, audiences sensed they were someplace forbidden. Cannes awarded it, yet trauma surgeons called the film an invitation to fetishize paralysis. Westminster Council instantly barred it from central London. Across North America, multiplex managers fielded calls from victims' families, begging them to think about whiplash wards before profit. A Toronto preview drew protesters waving crumpled fender parts, and several national chains canceled all future showings. Smaller screens folded after late-night radio hosts claimed Crash could trigger copycat pileups. Prints were recalled, ticket money refunded, and the studio found itself hawking an award winner that no one dared project. Its smoky steel caresses survived only at midnight programs, where curious viewers felt complicit, as if sneaking forbidden schematics for desire, proof that danger, sex, and technology already shared the same fast lane. Number 3. Kids. Larry Clark's 1995 sun-bleached nightmare unfolds in one sticky New York afternoon, where skateboards clatter like warning bells, and every casual kiss carries HIV. Its amateur cast, real drugs, and handheld voyeurism trap viewers inside a secret diary they were never meant to read. The MPAA threatened an NC-17, so producers dumped ratings altogether, daring theaters to take the heat. Politicians shouted child porn, suburban moms phoned bomb threats to art houses, and a Georgia chain pulled the film after a teenage patron fainted during an oral sex scene. Insurance carriers hiked premiums, security costs soared, and within 2 weeks, dozens of screens replaced kids with family fare. The exodus turned Clark's lens into urban legend. Whisper screenings in lofts, bootleg tapes traded like contraband, college lectures citing its raw honesty about AIDS apathy. Each projector shutdown amplified its warning siren, and for a generation, its disappearance proved realism can scare America more than any monster movie. Number 4. Romper Stomper. Jeffrey Wright flung open the door on Melbourne's neo-Nazi underbelly in 1992 and let raw hatred flood the screen. Russell Crowe's gang leader isn't a villain you boo. He's a pit bull whose heartbeat thuds through the speakers. Fists smash immigrant faces, punk guitars shred the air, and the film never pauses to condemn. When skinhead attacks spiked the week of release, police chiefs accused the movie of providing a recruitment video. A midnight brawl outside a downtown cinema left 3 hospitalized. By dawn, councils in Victoria and New South Wales ordered posters down and shows canceled. US art houses booked it for midnight, then scrubbed it entirely after death threats. Every shuttered screen intensified its mystique, turning Romper Stomper into contraband homework on how rage metastasizes. Viewers who finally caught a battered print felt like smugglers handling dynamite, knowing this brutally honest film had been exiled for daring to spotlight racism everyone pretended lived elsewhere. Number 5. Man Bites Dog. The 1992 Belgian faux doc opens with a killer calmly describing lung capacity while stuffing weights into a corpse's backpack and tipping it into a canal. The cameraman laughs. That collaboration, media helping murder for better footage, sent shockwaves through festival crowds. When it reached U.S. art houses, a journalism student mailed letters quoting its dialogue alongside threats, claiming the movie taught him how to achieve fame. Headlines flared, protesters picketed, and distributors yanked the rollout overnight. Theaters in Boston and Chicago refunded opening week tickets, apologizing for showing snuff masquerading as satire. Critics debated brilliance versus sociopathy, but the boycott stuck. Man Bites Dog vanished, resurfacing only via underground VHS, where film students watched grainy copies, nervously laughing at the joke they were now part of. Its aborted run became the ultimate case study in how society slams the projector lid when art dares to accuse us of enjoying the scream more than the survivor. Number 6. Showgirls. Paul Verhoeven's 1995 fever dream crashes into Vegas like a drunk roulette ball, spinning between feathered glitz and gutter sleaze. Cameras linger on bruised knuckles gripping champagne, on sequins stitched above old cigarette burns, daring you to confuse aspiration with exploitation. MGM gambled on an NC-17 launch, splashing billboards across Times Square that promised, "Leave your inhibitions at the door." Opening weekend, protesters from decency leagues picketed multiplexes beside gawking tourists. Ushers found torn seats and sticky floors after couples tried reenacting poolside contortions. When the Sunday receipts tanked and tabloids screamed porn on the strip, theater chains in the Bible Belt yanked the film, citing vandalism, underage sneaks, and soaring security costs. By week 2, Vegas itself dropped marquee ads, anxious to keep tourist dollars glimmering pure. Yet every empty auditorium only fueled midnight curiosity. VHS tapes flew off shelves, dorm rooms hosted ironic screenings, and Nomi Malone pirouetted from flop to cult goddess. Her exile proof that neon can scorch as easily as it dazzles. Number 7. Necromantic II. 12 days after its 1991 Munich premiere, police kicked in the projection booth door and seized every reel like contraband plutonium. Jörg Buttgereit's Necrophilia sequel opens on a cemetery kiss that fogs the lens, then drifts into love scene autopsies scored by lullabies. Newspaper editorials compared it to Nazi atrocity footage. Conservative MPs demanded prosecutors protect German souls. When art house owners in Hamburg tried a second screening, officers arrived with court orders, and the prince vanished again, first film since World War II legally confiscated for obscenity. Bootleggers filled the void, pressing warped VHS copies that traded hand-to-hand across Europe in padded envelopes marked family photos. Each confiscation inflated its curiosity tax. Cinephiles whispered about the missing scar tissue. Horror fans debated whether the ban proved Germany still feared its own shadows. Necromantic II never had a box office run to lose. Its savage romance was born outlaw. But the raids crowned it the decade's ultimate forbidden fruit. A love story so wrong, the government literally dragged it from the light. Number 8. Dogma. Kevin Smith's 1999 heretical road comedy loads fallen angels, a stripper muse, and a profanity-laced apostle into a Buick and points them straight at Catholic doctrine. The jokes land like cherry bombs in the collection plate. God's voice is Alanis Morissette, and plenary indulgence hides in a Jersey church reopening. Before a single ticket sold, Cardinal Mahoney's office denounced the script. Disney, owning Miramax, quietly shelved wide release. When indie distributor Lionsgate stepped in, parish groups mailed theaters photos of bomb-shattered abortion clinics with the caption, "Next time it's you." Kansas exhibitors canceled after midnight voicemails listed their kids' schools. St. Louis police parked cruisers outside multiplexes, but still advised pulling the movie for staff safety. Smith bought a ticket under a fake name at one protest just to hold his own sign, "I'm Catholic too." What survived was a guerrilla rollout. Scattered screens, sold-out shows, word-of-mouth hymns celebrating free speech. Every theater forced to dim the projector only amplified Dogma's sermon, that faith strong enough to laugh can survive any picket line. Number 9. The Doom Generation. Greg Araki's 1995 heterosexual movie is a blood-spattered joyride where every gas station slushie tastes like apocalypse. 3 nihilist teens burn through neon motels, swapping partners and gunfire in equal measure, while MTV Speed edits pump their pulse straight into the audience's carotid. Rating boards screamed NC-17. Araki trimmed seconds of torso carnage, only for chain owners to preview the cut, and still walk out when a severed head nestled beside a lover's kiss. Opening night in Santa Monica, 2 patrons hurled soda cups at the screen, accusing it of glamorizing school violence days after a local shooting. Insurance carriers hiked premiums, exhibitors demanded metal detectors, and the distributor yanked the prints to avoid lawsuits they couldn't afford. The film sputtered into black market survival. Scratched DVDs passed between punk bands. Midnight houses projecting torrents downloaded at dial-up speeds. Its stunted run fossilized the Doom Generation as cinema's ultimate ugly postcard from the 90s, proof that love, sex, and oblivion can fit in the same stolen Camaro, but rarely survive the parking lot lights. Number 10. Ebola Syndrome. Herman Yao's 1996 plague panic shocker opens with a chef slaughtering a village, grilling the flesh, and infecting himself with an unstoppable virus. Then jumping a flight to neon Hong Kong, the camera lingers on bubbling sores, on infected spit sliding into a beer mug, on a necrophilic fever dream that seems to steam the lens. Within days of release, real-world headlines screamed about a sudden Ebola flare-up in Zaire. Audiences stumbled out, clutching surgical masks, convinced the movie itself carried germs. Health officials accused Yao of weaponizing panic. Theater custodians refused to clean seats, and Hong Kong exhibitors yanked the film after paramedics were twice called for fainting patrons. Censors in South Africa and Singapore banned it outright, declaring the gore medically terroristic. Every reel shoved back in its canister only intensified rumors. Did censors cut an autopsy birth scene? A live pig vivisection? Scratched VCDs swapped across Chinatown stalls kept the epidemic alive. Proof that sometimes fear travels faster than any airline timetable. Number 11. Bad Lieutenant Abel Ferrara's 1992 descent into ecclesiastical filth follows Harvey Keitel's coke-dusted NYPD captain as he gambles on baseball, pistol whips teens, and weeps naked before a graffitied crucifix. It's exploitation not by quantity of crime, but by the intimacy of its rot. One unbroken shot tracks his howl from ecstasy to self-disgust, so closely you smell the nicotine on his lips. Catholic watchdogs labeled it spiritual pornography, flooding theater managers with rosaries taped to death threats. After a vandal smashed stained glass windows at a Manhattan venue, Lowe's pulled the picture from all tri-state screens, citing employee safety. Louisiana chains followed when a priest chained himself to the box office, vowing hunger strike. Ferrara refused to trim a frame. Tickets vanished, legends grew. Bootlegs became confessional rites for rebellious seminarians, and the movie's exile echoed its theme, that corruption can stalk sanctuaries, and sometimes the holiest places slam the door rather than face the mirror. Number 12. Funny Games. Michael Haneke's 1997 home invasion mind trap feels like evil slipped on white gloves and asked to borrow your TV remote. 2 polite young men imprison a family, then turn to the audience with smirks that seem to ask, "Why are you still watching?" Viewers in Vienna hurled popcorn at the screen when the killers rewound reality to erase the hero's only escape. A Salzburg cinema canceled all late shows after a teenage couple was mugged in the parking lot by attackers quoting the film's dialogue. German press ran headlines blaming Funny Games for holiday home terror copycats. and local councils pulled exhibition licenses, citing psychological endangerment. When French art houses tried a rollout, ushers quit en masse, refusing to sit through another screening that felt like being skinned alive. Pulled reels migrated to university film clubs, where students debated whether Haneke indicted violence or indulged it. But everyone agreed the ban proved his thesis. Audiences will endure anything as long as the camera keeps rolling. Number 13. The Basketball Diaries. Scott Calvert's 1995 adaptation of Jim Carroll's memoir follows Leonardo DiCaprio from Catholic school hoop star to barefoot junkie stalking alleyways for his next score. One fever dream shows him trench, coated, shotgun armed, blasting classmates. Just a nightmare until real life echoed it. After the 1997 Paducah school shooting, grieving parents sued every theater chain that still carried the film, claiming it rehearsed murder. Exhibitors in Kentucky and Arkansas pulled it overnight. Columbine 2 years later sealed its fate nationwide. Politicians waved VHS covers on CSPAN, demanding federal ratings reform, and Blockbuster yanked copies from shelves. DiCaprio's sweaty, mesmerizing spiral survived only in dorm room torrents and anti-drug seminars that played clips as cautionary horror. The very scene that destroyed its theatrical run became cultural shorthand for lost innocence, a reminder that the line between artistic warning and perceived blueprint can blur under fluorescent tragedy. And when it does, the first casualty is often the projector's light. Screen after screen went dark, but the pulse of these banned renegades still thrums in midnight basements and whispered dorm rooms. Remember, every reel suppressed only amplifies the legend. If the curtain of censorship fascinates you, like this video and share your own outlaw favorites below. Let's keep the projectors roaring.